Don't stop.
Hi, thanks for joining me on the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. My guest today, his name is Spencer Thomas, and he is one of the finds that I find whenever I'm doing my scrolling on TikTok or Instagram, my nights where I say it's going to be 15 minutes of scrolling, and we always end up at the 2-hour mark most of the time on average. I've also had this new game. Let me tell you the name of this game that I have because this game is costing me money daily. Royal Kingdom. I kept getting ads for this all the time, and I'm like, let me just download it so I can see why I'm getting 4,000 million ads for this stupid game. And it's really it's a silly game, but I am now addicted to it. I'm on level like 1,000 something. Let me see what level I'm on because it's like I'm on level 1,278. So I have fully like been sucked into this Royal Kingdom game, and it's like really kind of not even. It's so mind numbing, and maybe that's why I love it. But here's the issue with this. It would be fine like if it was mind-numbing and I was just doing that whenever I was trying to relax or whatever. But now I'm paying for stuff. Because when I can't get past a level, I got to buy things, coins, to be able to continue to the next level so I don't have to start all over and stuff. So, yeah, I've probably spent roughly about $600 in the last month on buying fucking coins for Royal Kingdom. I'm just going to leave that there, and we're not going to talk about it anymore because I'm not buying anymore because after I use up the coins I have, I'm deleting the app fully. I've had to do this with another app before where I spent a few $1,000s. This was years ago. And then I'm like, I got to delete it. I'm addicted. I mean, it's really crazy. My guest today, back to him, is that he is a New York City guy that I found on TikTok. And he has TikToks where he was going to try to go to every gay bar in New York City. He went on a solo trip to Peru. I just thought his content was cool. And I just sent him a DM saying, hey, do you want to come on my show? And he wrote a book, and he's writing another book, and he's out of college now, living his best life in New York. And I really and he said, yeah, he wanted to come on. He was excited about coming on. His book has been out a couple of years, and he wrote it from the age, I think, 19 to 21 is when he wrote this. The name of his book and link to buy his book is in the description of this video or podcast. And yeah, I really liked him. So by the time you hear this episode, I will already have had a night out with him in Boston if all plans go through, because he's coming to Boston May 16th, and it's a little before May 16th as I'm recording this. So I will go out with him that night in Boston, and we're going to have a night out, and we're going to see what gay bars, he has not had a good experience in Boston, and I'm going to bring him a good experience. And he sent me a text this morning and said that he was seeing somebody, and he was mentioning this in the podcast, and it has now ended. So he has asked me to try to find him a eligible bachelor in Boston. Yeah, why not? I mean, find him a nice guy in Boston, then he can move here and I'll have a new friend here. Yeah. And I will finally get to make that speech at the wedding or even ordain the wedding. One of those two have to happen in my lifetime, preferably in the next 2 years. I need to make a speech. I need to do a matchmaking first. That's my first priority. I really, really, really want to do a matchmaking. I want to set somebody up and they're together with somebody forever and they're happy. I love love. And then I want to make a speech at the wedding, or even better, to ordain the wedding and then make a speech. I'll go and get my universal whatever license to marry somebody legally. And then, then they have a destination wedding, in, I don't know, somewhere really nice in let's see, where could we go? Bali, Fiji, somewhere like that, and they pay for my entire trip to go since I got them to meet, because the person they meet is extremely wealthy. They probably have their own island off of one of these bigger islands, and they are just going to have a private ceremony, and they're going to fly me on the private jet there. This is how I see it all coming together. So Spencer Thomas, get ready to meet your husband, maybe whenever this episode airs. It's going to air towards the end of May. And maybe I would have already found him somebody and he'll already have a ring. And if that happens, I will do an update at the end of this episode that I will add to it so you know what happened. And if you don't see anything but just the end of the podcast, that means he is still looking and I am taking applications. So send me, this is what I need if you are interested in dating Spencer Thomas. You need to send me a DM. You need to follow me so I can see, I need to see your profile. My profile is open to the public, but I need to see your profile. So send me a message, a DM on Instagram. It's The Real Zach RE is my Instagram name. And send me a couple sentences of why you think you'd be a good fit. Spencer is 23 years old, an NYU graduate, journalist, influencer, like writer, all that. So he's got a good like background. He's got a good thing happening. He lives in Brooklyn. I believe he lives in Brooklyn. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't live in Brooklyn. I don't know why I think he lives in Brooklyn, but I think he might live in Brooklyn. And he's nice and he's cute and he's sweet. And I think he'd make somebody a really, really good boyfriend/husband. I don't know if he wants kids. I don't know anything about any of that. I just know he's writing another book and he's doing that now. And that's all I know. I know he's nice and I know I liked him. And I know that he'd make somebody a good boyfriend. So send me a DM. Tell me in a few sentences why you'd be a good match. And I need a picture of you that I can download and send to him. So attach your picture there. Or, yeah, that's all I need. I don't need to know. I can do the rest of my investigation of you myself online. I just need your full name, though. So if your name is not in your profile, then just tell me your name, first and last name. That's all I need. Not asking for a social security number, not asking for your ATM pin, just asking for your first name, last name, and your picture. And please don't be a catfish. Nobody wants a catfish. Nobody wants to go through that. Nope, not today. Enjoy my interview with Spencer Thomas. Thanks. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining me in the Everything and Anything and a Bit Gay podcast. Today, I have a guest who you may know if you are on TikTok or Instagram. His name is Spencer Thomas. He has a book out called Goodbye to Boyhood. It's been out a couple of years, right, Spencer?
2 years as of like 2 days ago.
And so Spencer caught my attention because he is, you're 23?
23 years old, yep.
He's 23 years old, living in New York City, and he has a mission that he's trying to do more gay shit. So, and I love that. He was also trying to go to every gay bar. He's been in Boston. He got stuck in Miami. He's went on a solo trip to Peru. We have so much to talk about because like his content, I've watched a lot of his videos. He's on my FYP now on TikTok. So welcome to my show, first of all.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Zach. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And would you say that by us doing this podcast, we are doing the gay shit?
This is gay shit for sure.
This is gay shit maximized, plural, actually.
Yeah, because we're going to have a bunch of gays watching this or listening to it. So it's super gay.
Those are our people. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So first, I want to talk about, where did you grow up?
I grew up in this little small town in Connecticut called Reading. It was one of those towns where like there wasn't much going on. Like we had a rock and a church as the town center. No, nothing. So I also kind of grew up at a nature preserve. So it was a relatively small town, pretty mundane, and you're left to your own devices a lot of the time. And that town for me kind of like was like the foundation for getting into writing, for getting into anything creative at all. Because when you're just staring at the trees all day long, like, what else do you have to do? So I was like, all right, like, might as well do something with my time. Where are you from?
I grew up in Miami.
Miami, okay, whereabouts? I can talk shop. Where in Miami?
So I grew up a little south of Miami. I grew up in it's not a small town anymore. It was a small town at one point. It was called Homestead, Florida. And I grew up there. And then I moved to South Beach during college and lived there. And then I moved to New York. I was there for, I don't know, like 8 or 9 years. And I moved back to Miami, bought a house in South Miami Miami Shores. And then did a bunch of other moves after that. Atlanta, Switzerland, Philadelphia, lots of places. 18
Wow.
moves in
Whoa.
27 years.
I've had in 23 years 2 moves.
Yeah. So
That's it. See, I mean, you got me beat.
yeah, but you're young still, so you probably have a lot of moves left in you. So
And you're young too. I mean, age is just a number, as they say, right?
yeah, exactly. So why did you pick New York? Because you felt a calling for it? Because you had your people there?
In New York, I picked New York for a multitude of reasons. I grew up in a part of Connecticut where I was far outside of the suburbs enough where New York wasn't the central, like, tethered to why you lived in those towns. Like, I wasn't in, like, a Greenwich or a Stamford. I mean,
Yeah.
Reading was an hour and a half out in the middle of the trees. So it was kind of like no man's land. So I was far enough away from the city, but it was still kind of like on the back burner of a place that you're kind of familiar with, that kind of dictates the culture of the Northeast. And for me, what really kind of became my reason for New York was my grandmother, because my grandmother, who was my best friend, who was my second mother in a lot of ways, she helped raise my twin sister and I. She grew up in Flint, Michigan, moved to Connecticut when she got married, became a teacher. And then when she was in her later stages of life, said one day, I'm over the trees. I'm going to move to New York and make something of myself in my later years of life. So she picked up her bags and started over in New York City when I was a little kid. And so I'd go out to New York all the time to visit her and spend like weekends with my grandmother in the city in the Upper West Side. And that was how I fell in love with New York as a kid, was through the lens of her and her taking me to museums and us reading books together and going to shows, and her kind of curating this little world that I could see that exposed me to so many new things at a young age, that made me fall in love with what New York City could be, not just for her, but for myself, and how you can kind of rewrite history in a way in New York. And so as I got older, what really got me through living in this small town, this little bubble where everything's a big deal and everything matters, was the idea of one day I can go to New York and I could pursue my dreams. Very cliche, but that's what I did when I was 18 years old. When I got into school, I was applying for all the schools in New York only. I packed my bags. I came to NYU. I double majored in journalism and creative writing. Actually, no, it was journalism major, English major, and then a minor in creative writing. And then I did school here, and then I wrote my first book when I was in school. And now we're approaching like 1 year of me graduating in like a few weeks. So
wow,
that's
amazing.
That's the short form little like abridged synopsis for you.
And how was growing up in the small town? When did you realize that you were gay? Like, at what age did you kind of figure that out?
You see, I kind of go back and forth on this question because it's a difference of when did you realize something was not quite the same as the other boys around you versus when you accepted it. I knew something was up when I was 5 years old watching the Goonies, and I was like, the older brother is super hot, him and his bandana, and he's sweating, and he has like this little gym pump. I'm like, I don't know what's going on here, but I like it,
Yeah.
But then it took me up until like 16 years old to realize, oh, you like men, because I physically refused to let myself believe that or to tap into those emotions. So anytime I had a feeling that was, oh, you like a guy, or you have feelings for this person, or you're attracted to this, I kind of would shut it down. And you can really kind of throw it into the back of your brain and just hope it sticks there and it won't come back to the surface. But when I was 16, I had this mission. You want to hear my mission? This was really...
I do.
It was a really stupid mission, but I had this mission when I was 16. When I was a sophomore in high school, I was like, I am going to kiss a girl, and this is going to solve everything. This is my Cinderella moment. Like, it's going to be, I'm at the ball, I have my shoe, whatever. Like, I was like, once I kiss a girl, I know I'm going to be straight. And we're going to be happy and have lots of babies and be married and be done. Like, I truly believe that if I kissed a girl and like try to like actually have an experience with a woman, then that was what would grant me this freedom of like sexual turbulence in my personal life. And so I did. I was at summer camp. I was 16 years old, and my friend was like, want to make out? Because she knew about my kiss virginity struggle, like this little mission of mine. And I was like, sure. And then she like tried to escalate it, and I was like, no, I'm scared. And then after that, I was like, wait, this isn't gonna work. I can't do it anymore. And it was through the process of having my first kiss with a girl that I was like, oh, I definitely can't do this for my entire life. I think I like men. And then 3 months later, I was out as like a bisexual, even though I'm not bisexual, but you know, gateway.
Yeah, everybody does that. Everybody's got to go through that stage, I think, or most people.
Love my bisexuals, but for me, yeah, it was definitely like a trial and error. I was like, I'm good. And then I didn't look back.
So are you a gold star gay then?
Well, I kissed a girl, so I don't think I'm a gold star gay at all.
Well, a gold star gay is, I think, sleeping with a girl.
Then I guess I'm technically gold star for by that definition. Yeah.
Yeah. Good. That's great. I have a lot of gold star gay friends. I have some platinum gay friends. You know what that means? And we'll be right back. Okay, now back to the show. I have a lot of gold star gay friends. I have some platinum gay friends. You know what that means?
No, enlighten me.
That means that they never have touched a vagina because they didn't even come out of their mother's vagina. So they were a C-section. So they're like platinum gay. So they've never like...
Well, I was C-section too. So what does that mean?
So you're a platinum gay.
I'm a platinum? Oh, Jesus. Yeah, I guess I'm platinum. No, I think so. That I hope that answers your question. It's like, I think there's a big distinction of accepting sexuality versus understanding sexuality. Like, I understood my sexuality to some degree when I was younger, but I couldn't accept it till I was 16 going at 17 years old. Yeah. And to me, I thought that was old. I thought, oh, you're late to the game. I thought I was a late bloomer in many ways. But now that I'm 23, geriatric, I know, I'm like, you wise little 23-year-old, you're very young. Like 16 is very young too to figure out your sexuality, because this is like a lifelong endeavor. It's not something you're going to figure out today or tomorrow. This is going to be a thing that transfers with you as this like living, breathing thing within you until you're dead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that you have plenty of time to kind of figure out all that stuff. But 23 is very young though, just so you know. It's not geriatric at all. It's very young.
It's ancient. Just like,
Yeah. And you look so old, all the wrinkles and stuff you have. It's just like, you look, you have perfect skin. So I wouldn't like
try my best.
So tell me what made you start kind of post. What was your first post that kind of went viral? Because I look at your post. I think what got me is whenever you started talking about you wanted to hit all the gay bars in New York City. So that might have been the first one I seen. But you have like over 200,000 followers just on TikTok. What does that surprise you, first of all?
Yes and no. I think I've been working in social media for a long time. So I feel that as each year passes, that it's like a little bit more of chipping away at the foundation and kind of building this platform, right? At the same time, it's always it's hard for me to verbalize. I have such a deep appreciation for the fact that I'm able to do this at all. Like, especially with my book, Goodbye to Boyhood. Like, when I put that out 2 years ago, I did that as a junior in school. I wrote the thing when I was 19, 20, 21, put it out on my own, and I leveraged my platform as a way to kind of get my writing out there and connect with an audience. And so when the audience translated to reading and writing, my passions, that was an incredibly fulfilling piece of this work for me. But back to answer your question, social media for me started when I was 17 years old. Actually 16. I was in Catholic school. I was a transfer student in a little Catholic school in a town called Danbury, Connecticut. Some of you may know what that is. And I was in this really small, conservative little town in this school, and I was kind of outed. And I've talked about this before extensively, so I'm not going to do the woe is me outed thing. But after I was outed, I kind of internalized that and was like, I'm either going to go back internally and hide in the closet and kind of just not embrace this side of myself, or I'm just going to see what's been missing from my life and just try out turning over a new leaf. And so that's what I did. And so social media became part of my catharsis when I was 16, 17 years old, to just let my emotions have a place to sit other than my computer or with my friends. And I was making content. And I look back now and the content was low-key dramatic. Like, I was being melodramatic. I was just airing out my dirty laundry online. I was like this religion teacher did this guy at my school outed me. Like I was just like really like off the cuff, just like oversharing. But it was through the act of oversharing my personal thoughts and feelings and emotions online when I was like 17 years old that got me somewhat of a following. And that kind of snowballed a little bit year after year after year after year to the point where it kind of like built up to what I have now. Yeah. And in the process of that, I wrote Goodbye to Boyhood.
Yeah. I mean, I think that I love it that you kind of like have put, you're talking about putting your life out there, but I think that's why people connect to you, because you are very real, and the things that you're kind of talking about and the things you're doing. I think a lot of gay or even non-gay people, but gay men especially, like you want to go out and do some gay shit. And I think a lot of gay guys think about like, oh, I need to do more gay shit, or I need to do more stuff to meet friends, or I want to go to these bars. So I think what you're doing is just so relatable, which is why I think you've become so popular online.
You're buttering me up, Zach. I appreciate you.
No, I'm just, I mean, the things that you're talking about online. So I'll give you an example. You were talking on one of your latest videos. Maybe it wasn't a latest video but it's one of the videos I remember. You were walking by two gay guys arguing, and you were talking about how you never want to get in a fight with a gay guy. Because the way that they can read. And what I loved about it is like, yeah, a gay guy can read another guy or can read somebody because they were bullied and stuff. And so they have those defenses basically to do it. And it's so true, because whenever I moved to New York when I was 24, 25, and I met my husband about almost right away. And he was from Long Island. He was living in New York City he went to law school and all that in New York. And he basically, we went out to some bars, and some guy came up to him and started trying to talk to him. And him and I were clearly together. And I go, what? And I asked the guy, like, what the fuck do you think you're doing? And he goes, oh, I'm talking to this guy. I'm like, no, he's my boyfriend. He's like, oh, okay, he is now. I'm like, no, he is forever. And so we almost got in a fight. We got kicked out. And my husband's like, I've never got kicked out of a gay bar before, but I don't know, like you have to do it sometimes and stuff. So I don't know. I don't know if it's the Miami part of me that felt like I had to get in a fight with somebody to do it, but I don't know. That's just how it is.
Well, what strikes me about the story that you just shared is also like, what's with this territorial behavior on the behalf of another gay person that doesn't know you, like encroaching and like trying to like make you and your partner uncomfortable. It's like, this is my thing with the gays, and this is also why I feel like I'm grateful I can just kind of talk my mind on the internet, is it's like, well, we are one collective body.
Yes. Whether
you want to be part of that body or not, you are still gay. Yep. That person over there is gay. Maybe they're bisexual. God bless them. Maybe that person over there is queer. Whatever you are, I don't care, right? But we're all collectively part of this community, and it's like, we can play this game all day long of being catty with each other and doing the whole Velvet Rage thing and like being miserable. But what's the point? It's like respect each other's space, uplift each other. It doesn't have to be so competitive. And I think that people are quick to generalize that the entire gay community is like that, which it's not at all. And that's not what I'm saying. I actually think that it's a really small subset that is just very loud. But this is a great example of that, is like that comment of like, well, he's your boyfriend now. What's the point?
Yeah.
Girl, take a walk. Like,
and I'm not that person that's starting fights anymore in bars, but I mean, not that I wouldn't if I had to, but I'm not, that's not me anymore. So I don't
see that. I think, I don't see that for myself either. I don't like, it's not, I'm good. Like I'm tapping out. I don't want to be part of that.
I want to talk about all the bars that you went to in New York. So did you end up going to all of them?
No, it's impossible. It's impossible. Also, this series, it's funny. I was really hesitant with the gay bar series because I just didn't know what would come of it, nor did I think that it would be a good look on my part. So I'm very happy that people have resonated with it and that have enjoyed it.
Why would you think that? I think it's amazing.
I just didn't want to be like the gay bar guy, where it's like I'm going to the gay bar and it's like my shtick is that I like can review a gay bar. Like I wanted it to be more authentic than that. and I also like did want it to kind of overtake the other projects that I've been working on. And thankfully, like knock on wood, it hasn't. Because to me, it's just an ongoing series as part of a bunch of other series in my pursuit of gay shit, right? Like the gay bar series is just like a microscopic thing in the actual picture. So I'm grateful that it hasn't become this like one defining thing. But that was kind of a concern of mine going into it for sure.
No, I don't see that at all as who you are. I see you as one of your series. Like you traveled to Peru by yourself. I felt like that was like a little series that you did. Talking about your book, talking about gay life. I mean, I think that you have like different, like you just said, projects going on. That's how I see you anyway.
Well, thank you, Zach. I appreciate it. But yes, let's talk gay bars. I'm ready. Put me in the hot seat.
So I lived in New York on and off for like 17 years. So I've been to a lot of gay bars. I lived in Upper East Side, Hell's Kitchen, Park Slope. I lived in different areas. I just was in New York a couple of weeks ago. I went to Atlas Social Club for happy hour with friends. So what was your favorite bar that you went to in New York?
That I've done within the series or not within the series?
Without either. Well, no, not just your favorite gay bar overall.
Okay, well, caveat to that. My favorite bar is not a gay bar. It's a diet bar. And I'm not going to say the name of it because it's getting more crowded than it usually is. And I'm trying to gatekeep that. But it's my favorite bar in New York because it's, one, close to my apartment. Two, incredibly cheap. We're talking like $6 drinks. Yeah. And three, it has a really just great ambiance, and the bartenders and I are pretty cool. Like they're friends of mine. And so they hooked me up. So that's family, right? But my actual favorite gay bar, if I'm going to go out to a gay bar, it's really dependent on what I'm looking for or what my friends are looking for, right? Because when I was 19 years old, allegedly, underage, I was going to the Boiler Room, in East Village.
So that's that is one of the first bars I went to when I moved to New York.
Yeah, I was like completely underage. I was like a freshman in college. I was like 18 and I was at the Boiler Room and didn't care. I was like, what up? I was like, it didn't matter. Allegedly. Boiler Room always had these. They're very good about that. This did not happen. This is alleged. But I was at the Boiler Room when I was 19, allegedly. And, I was there. And what the thing about the Boiler Room is that it really was decrepit. I mean, the old bar, the Boiler Room, was not clean. It was not chic. It was just this rundown hole in the wall on 4th Street off First Avenue. And I loved it. I just loved it. I loved the ambiance. I loved the dim lighting. I loved the smells. It's a little chlorinated, like the mixture of like, I don't want to say like BO, but like mixture of like BO and like cleaning supplies. Like it was not cute, but there was something about it that was so rustic and that was so far off from the small town that I grew up in that I found it incredibly refreshing. Like I found it to be like this exciting place, which is ironic because it wasn't that exciting on paper, but it was exciting because it was like, I'm young, I'm new to New York. I'm at this gay bar and I'm drinking this rum and coke that tastes like battery acid. Yeah. And oh my God, I'm a city girl now. It was that kind of thing for me. And so and then when I was like also 18, 19, and I don't like this bar, so I'm not gonna, and this is also, it's still alleged, but I was going to Playhouse a lot because it was in the West Village. And back in the day, Playhouse was kind of the place to be before they got the TSA airport scanner. Now you go to Playhouse and they have this like TSA scanner. They scan your hands, they scan your eyes, they take pictures of you, and then they charge you $10 cover charge. Yeah. And there's no re-entry. You can't even go smoke a cigarette outside. They make you pay another $10. So my chapter with Playhouse has been done for a few years. But those were the places I was going when I was first in New York. It was, Boiler Room, it was Playhouse, it was, you go to Hell's Kitchen, you go to Hush or Industry. Yeah. Rise more when I was a sophomore and junior in school, when I was like 20, 21. And then I got into the Brooklyn spots, Rosemont. I've been to Animal a few times, but I'm not going to go back, I don't think, unless my friends want to go. Like, Metropolitan, maybe. Like, there's a bunch. Yeah. So it's hard for me to narrow down, like, my absolute favorite. But to kind of circle back and answer your question, so I don't, like, lose track of the plot here, I would say my favorite gay bar, probably in terms of what it has done for me, would probably be... You say yours first. I'm trying. I don't. I'm being careful with
Well,
my
so
words here.
whenever I first came to New York, there was clubs, and I was going to Limelight and Tunnel,
Yeah.
and going to major clubs. And so Tunnel was my favorite club. So now today, um, where do I like now? I don't know. Atlas was okay. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't anything exciting. Um, Whenever I lived in Hell's Kitchen, I had friends that would come into town, and we would go to Flaming Saddles before it became a big bachelorette party. And the thing is that I knew one of the bartenders there really well. So I'd go in and always drink for free. So I would always end up there at the end of the night. But it's such like it's so touristy now. So I don't know if I would do it again.
It is.
But it was fun like before COVID. Like
I was there like a month or two ago, and I haven't been back there in years because I also went there like once or twice when I was like allegedly underage, and I had fun. But it was a lot of years since I went back to Flaming Saddle, and I actually had fun when I went back because one of the bartenders there hit me up and was like, "Come to this bar, we're gonna give you a good time," and I was like, "Okay," and I showed up and I was like, brought my friend, and I was like ready to have a party, and they were really kind, and it was a nice time. But it's challenging to kind of name a favorite, not in like a PR friendly, like brand friendly, safe way of doing it. I don't know. Like I love all bars because it's not true. Like I obviously have preferences for some clubs and bars over others. I think the challenge for me about favorite is like I don't go to enough gay bars often enough to have like a consistent favorite.
yeah,
Like I'm not like ironic in kind of contrary to the series where I'm going to every gay bar in New York. I'm not going to gay bars on a consistent enough basis to be like, this is my favorite gay bar. Like,
Yeah.
I really have a preference for dive bars that fit within the category of old school boiler room, or dive bars within different neighborhoods across each different borough that have their own kind of aesthetic and their own vibe. Like, that has always been my personal preference.
And we should also just say Boiler Room has completely changed from what we have just described though, right? I mean, it's completely
Yeah.
different bar now.
And I respect them for getting a new space. And, in the old spot at Boiler Room, now there's this bar owned by Baz Luhrmann, the director, called Monsieur, which crazy how beautiful it is. Like, it is a really beautiful bar, and they completely, like, redid it. But the new Boiler Room is on 2nd Avenue and I believe 3rd Street. And it's actually the first video I did for this series. So I was with my friends after we had a night out, and I had my friend Trey record it. And I was like, Trey, we got to do a video. And I was like, I have this idea. And so he pulled out the phone, he did the video, and it was like empty. And we're just like, tooling around Boiler Room in an empty bar, just having a good time.
Yeah.
But the new Boiler Room, it has the nice fluorescent lighting. It's all brick. It's all very clean and put together and polished, and it's a nice bar. Objectively, it's very pretty, but for me, like, that's not why I went to the Boiler Room.
Yeah, exactly. That's not why we
bar.
went either. Yeah,
I went to have conversations with my friends when we were like younger, and we'd be like in the pits about like being 20 years old for the first time, and like you'd be in the corner and you would just be having like a moment, and then it's like the world kind of stops and it's dark in there, so it's just like you and your friend, and you're wasted on your tequila sunrise, and you're just like having it out, like having this like moment. Like, there was something about the old Boiler Room that kind of bred this like intimacy to it, especially because of the environment. And that is why I prefer a good dive bar, because it does breed that. And the one that I go to the most, because I do go to this dive bar more than once a week usually, is it has that same kind of aesthetic. And it's also just like, I don't really pay for drinks anymore. So it's like, I just sit in the corner with my girls and we chat.
Yeah, there was a bar. It's gone now, I'm sure. It was called Wonder Bar.
I've heard of it though. There's lore around Wonder Bar.
No.
I don't think it's here anymore, but I've heard about it.
Not Wonder Bar. Wonder Bar was a bar that we used to love. That one's definitely gone. There was a bar called Holiday Bar, and there was these two.
The Holiday Bar and Inn, the one right there in East Village.
Is it still there?
Yeah, I was there like 2 days ago.
Okay, so do they still have the two old men working there?
It was two young guys with man buns working there when I went, but I'm sure they do. I mean, I was at Holiday Bar like literally a few days ago. It was good. My friend and I were going to my dive
It's
bar,
got
but
to
it
be
was too
different
packed.
though, because whenever
With
we
the
would
with
go,
the holiday lights in the semicircle table,
yeah.
the
So
bar's like, yeah, it's the
we
yeah.
would go there like before we would go out. So we'd go in like 9 o'clock or something. We'd get drinks because drinks were like $5 or something, and then the pours were very heavy. And it was these two old guys that were drunk that were the bartenders. And then all of a sudden, like
That's
at
fading away.
10:30, 11 o'clock, they were like, everybody out because they owned the bar. So everybody would get pushed out. We'd go out to wherever we would go, Wonder Bar or wherever we'd go. And then like at 2 a.m, we're like, let's see if Wonder Bar's open back up. And it was. We'd go back in and have more drinks. And sometimes they wouldn't even charge us because they were so drunk they didn't even know what was happening. But it was like our go-to dive bar. So it was great.
It's so funny. I was literally just there. It's a really cute spot. I've been there a few times. Wasn't the two old guys working? Was these just two other guys? But yeah, like that's the kind of stuff I love. Is like you're able to like form community with these bars that you go to because you frequent them enough where it's like you get to know the people that work there. You get to kind of know the regulars who are in and out, and it almost becomes this like third space. And everyone's always talking about, well, you need third spaces. You know that you're not just buying stuff, but the thing is like the third space can't be a bar or a cafe or this, that, and the third, because like you make it your third space and you kind of like form a relationship with those people that are actually there consistently as well. And that's the great thing about New York, especially being downtown, is there are these pockets of community if you're just willing to look for them.
And we'll be right back. Okay, and now back to the show. What did you think about the gays in Boston? Because I have my own thoughts living here. And it's not positive.
Dude.
And you be honest, because I've
First off, so you go first. You speak your piece, and I'll say my piece about Boston.
Well, so there's a guy named Benjamin Smith who I had on my show. He's a realtor in Boston who wears like 3 layers. Oh, you did? Okay. So
we were at the club together when I was in Boston a few months ago.
And so he came on my podcast, and we basically said the gays are mean and cliquey here. And that video got like 150,000 views or comments and stuff on Instagram. And most gays in Boston agreed with us. Of course, there were some like, you just don't know and all this. I'm like, okay, whatever. But then I was doing a series of other local gay guys in Boston, and they all say the same thing. Gays are cliquey. They're not nice. So I started going out every Thursday night with a few of my friends. And I mean, I've changed my mind about some of them, about the gay culture, because I think there are nice gay guys out there, but I do think it's still such a cliquey culture, and they think they're all too pretty sometimes and stuff. So it's not New York. Because when I lived in New York, I could walk into a bar, walk up to somebody, hey, let's do a shot together. I didn't even know them. Yeah, let's do a shot. And we would do a shot.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
We would like exchange phone numbers, whatever. We would be best friends for 25 years. And like, you know, you would have all these best friends and stuff. Just going into people in New York are friendly. In Boston, it's not like that.
Right.
So tell me about your experience.
Well, my twin sister lives in Boston for now. She's moving to New York, I think, knock on wood, at the end of this semester. So I graduated college last year. She graduates this year because she's got her master's at BU. So she's smarter than me and, you know, real academic type. And so I was in Boston a few months ago for the Super Bowl and to visit her, spend time with her. And so my friend and I went up there. We drove up there and we spent time with her for the weekend in Boston. And when I was there, it was also like the coldest weekend of the year.
Yeah.
Miserable, right? I was shaking in my boots. I was like, get me out of here. It was like -15. We're trudging through the snow to get to Club Cafe, which is allegedly Club Cafe, which is like the one gay bar in all of Boston. Because I know the other ones are in Dorchester because the Boston gays have been telling me about this. So my thought process of Boston has always been this. Whenever I go to Boston, something bad happens to me. And this isn't a reflection upon the gay community, but when I go to Boston, bad things happen to me. For example, the one of the first times I went to Boston, when I was like, you know, a kid, I got like deathly sick, like flu, stomach ache, stomach bug, neurovirus, whatever. And then when I was older, at my sister's graduation, right after my college graduation, I got pink eye. And then I got And like, who gets pink eye? Like, and I know some people will be like, well, what did you do? What was near your eyes? Don't go through that thought process. I didn't do anything dirty. I keep it clean. I got pink eye, but I was pissed. I was like, who gets pink eye? But my sister's graduation was like squinting my eyes, like miserable. And then I got like fully sick again last year at her graduation, like the full like asthma attack, the sore throat, everything. I was just like bedridden, and I was like, get me out of here. And then last time I was in Boston, my friend's car got towed, and then we got a ticket. And so we had to go all the way out to, what's the town? It's like 30 minutes out. It's something Plains. We had to go out all the way out. You know, something Plains? What is it? Do you know the town?
I don't know. It's nothing is going to be
Dorchester.
So it's
not Jamaica Plains. Is it Jamaica Plains?
Jamaica Plains, like yes.
Jamaica Plains. I had to go out, take an Uber at the Jamaica Plains, take the orange line to the Uber to Jamaica Plains to get the car because our car got towed. And I was like, that's never happened to us before. And so I went into Boston this past time I was there, kind of with this like skepticism of like, bad things happen to me. We're going to try to shield ourselves, protect ourselves, keep it cute. We're in and out. We're here to support your sister for her Super Bowl weekend because she just wants some company. You know, she's going through a breakup. She just needs some time with me and my friend. We're just gonna have a good time. And so we're in Boston. We get dinner, and then we decide we're gonna go to Club Cafe and check it out. So we trudge through the snow. We're trudging, huffing and puffing. The wind's hitting us like crazy. And we get to this little Club Cafe, and I know the lore. I've seen the TikToks. I know what people say about this place. I'm like, fine, let me just judge it myself and make a video about it because I'm here, might as well. And also, I'm genuinely curious, what does Boston have to offer queer people? Like, what are your options for places to go out, right? Mm-hmm. And so, upon my horror, I think horror is the right word to use, I get into this Club Cafe, allegedly, and I'm in there, and I don't see any gay people.
Is it all bachelorette parties?
It was bachelorette party galore. I mean, it was Tina and Sue with her boyfriend Johnny and Jeff. I mean, it was one of those things where, and I started probing. I went to school for journalism, so I was like, I'm just going to start asking questions. I'm curious what's happening here. And people were thankfully willing to chat with me because they'd either seen my videos or they were just like, who's this new boy in town? Because Boston's a very small town. When everyone knows everybody, so like, who's this new boy? And so I was just kind of probing, and I was told verbatim that what happened at Club Cafe and what's happening in Boston is, of the few queer spots, the queer people have the spot. They bring their girlfriends. The girlfriends come with them. They're like, oh my God, we're not being harassed by these guys at Irish bars down in Fenway. Yeah. So then what they do is they then come with the girls alone, and they don't bring the queer person anymore to introduce them to said bar, right?
Yep.
And then from there, they bring their boyfriend Johnny and Jeff and Steve to the gay bar, and they create a new space from the old. They essentially colonize it to the point when the gay person no longer has a spot that's their own, because their girlfriends, who they brought in as a trusted ally, kind of betrayed their trust and brought in a whole entire new group of people. And my thought process with this is like, I have no issue with straight people coming to queer spaces. I actually am all for it. I brought my girlfriends. I was with my girlfriends at Club Cafe. So, I was with my girlfriends. The difference is, it's like, know the space you're occupying. Like, if you're going to be, in a gay bar and you're a group of girls, like, that's fine. But just have some understanding that you're stepping into a space for a community that used to not have these spaces, where these spaces were a testament to their own existence and to the survival of community. Like, these spaces have weight to them. There's a history to them. And I didn't understand that until I lived in New York, because like, you go to all these famous gay bars and you realize that there's so much history attached to them.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that, because like, there was nowhere else to go. And so when I was I was at Club Cafe, I'm gathering all this information. I'm seeing Johnny, Jeff, and Steve with their girlfriend. And it was one of those things that kind of made me upset, because I was like, Boston's small. There already is a pretty small nightlife scene here. There's a smaller queer community. It's pretty tight-knit, small. And maybe that's the reason why people are at odds with each other, because it's small, it's tight, and there's not that many places to go. And it just made me sad that, like, of the options you have, now they're being watered and filtered down because people that are completely detached from this community are coming in and bulldozing it to make it into another like Fenway Park bar where we can watch baseball on TV. They're literally playing sports on the TV or something. I don't know. So that was what I was left with. As to answer your question, not to go super long on the tangent here, about the actual like Boston gays themselves, I can't speak to that because I'm one for nuance. I can't generalize an entire community and say they're catty, they're awful, this, that, and the third. What I will say is that when your options are limited and you don't have that many places to go and the community's pretty small and you honestly can't be out past 10 p.m., that would drive me crazy.
It's 1 or 2.
What is?
1 or 2 is the time the bar is closed. Next time you come to Boston, I want you to let me know, and I'm going to take you out to the right place. I'll be there
in like 2 weeks.
Okay, we're going to go out. We're going to go out.
My sister has her master's graduation, so I'll be there literally in 2 weeks on the 16th.
I'm going to bring you out with my friends. I'm going to take you to the right bars. So I actually don't know if I want to. I'll say a couple of bars, and I'm not saying that I go there all the time because I don't want people to start going there. But there's a bar not far from Club Cafe. It's a bar. It's called Trophy Room. Very fun. Great crowd. All the guys are cute. Saturday nights it's packed. Sometimes I go there. I'm not saying that's where I always go, but sometimes I'll go on a Thursday. And I met so many great people there, and it's fun. There's
I trust you with this.
There's another Trophy Room is one of my favorite bars. I feel like I shouldn't be saying this on this podcast, but I'm going to say it. But then there's another bar called Cathedral, which is okay. There is a bar called Danny's Queer Bar that you should definitely check out. I have not been yet because one time I went and there was a line. I'm like, I'm not standing in line for it, but that's when it first opened. So I haven't tried it again. Then there's Blend, which is in Dorchester.
I know people tell me Blend is really good. I was informed Blend is good.
And then there's D Bar, which is good. I've been to. So there's lots of spaces to go and like places to go. But let me know when you come, and I will be happy to take you out.
Okay, amazing. To kind of circle back then, so like to kind of make my thesis more clear, because I don't. That's my problem. And I was told this recently that like once you get me going and I'm chatting, I can go from A to B to Z. Like I can jump ship, and then I can jump back on the ship. Then we're on a plane. Then we're on a train, etc. But the kind of the gist of what I'm getting at is it just disappointed me how this one queer spot was kind of being watered down, and to make way for the masses, and that bothered me. I can't speak on the gay community in Boston and like what it's like to be a gay guy in Boston because I don't know, but I just think that community needs spaces to thrive, to be community. And if these spaces are constantly kind of at war with the surrounding groups in Boston and, are kind of at odds with each other and they feel like they don't really have a true space to kind of be their own, that creates friction. And so I don't know if that's been your shared experience, and if you've noticed what I've noticed, but I made a video about it, ended up becoming a whole queerty article. Then I got a call from my grandfather down in Miami who was like, "Hey, I read about this on the news. Like, what's happening in Boston?" And I was like, "Grandpapa, I don't know. All I can tell you is that I was at the gay bar and there was more straights than the gays, and now it's being picked up by all these outlets or whatever." And I felt like a little like, ooh, I felt like I poked the bear a little bit.
I mean, Club Cafe, I don't want to bash it because like they could do their thing. I haven't been to Club Cafe in a long time because I think that for that reason, because it got to bachelorette party, it was like just not my scene at all. So anymore, and so I haven't been in years because of that reason. And I think that Club Cafe is probably the most known place because it's kind of like in the South End and stuff, and that's why people go. But there's so many other better places to go. So I will be happy to take you on a tour. I'm taking up on this offer. Like I'm not like
blasé about it. Like we're gonna go. We're gonna have a key.
Cool.
And I trust you with it. I will say, well, the one thing at Club Cafe that was positive was people were incredibly kind to me. The bartenders were lovely. And I met some really lovely elder gays who I had a nice conversation with for like 30 minutes to an hour in the kind of the corridor with. And they just were like, "Hey, what's up? We haven't seen you here before." and we just kind of were talking about life and where they're from in their hometowns and their dating life. And that's what I love about the gay bar. Like, if you're gonna do a gay bar right, talk to the patrons of the gay bar, make a friend or two, because that's the point of why we're there in the first place, is the community portion of it.
Yeah.
And so I did really enjoy that section of Club Cafe. If we just kind of overlook the other thing happening in the other side of the bar, like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's nuanced. I'm not going to just, it's not a all or nothing. It had everything, despite having some problems, does have charm within it. So
yeah, I mean, it's okay.
It's
just not my thing anymore. So, but
no,
I'm going to,
I'm good. Yeah,
I'm gonna bring you not to Club Cafe, but there'll be a lot of good places. We can go to several good places in one night. So,
I trust you with it.
I seen that you also heard about the Boston gay discourse that's kind of happening on TikTok, where these gays are fighting each other.
I don't know the tea at all. All I can say is that you guys need more stimuli in Boston.
I'm so disappointed in these gay guys that are doing this, and I actually recorded a podcast about it, and then I'm like, I don't know if I want to release it because I don't want to be sucked into their drama, but I'm like, stop doing this online. You're just talking about each other and you're making Boston look so bad. So it's just, but I don't know.
See, this is the thing with Boston. It's so small. What else is there to do? It's like, this is what's happened. It's the conversation is like perpetuating, because it's like the community is small and there's not much.
It's small compared to New York, but there's so many gay people here because of the colleges here. There's tons of, and there's just like lots of gay people that work here because of the pharmaceutical industry and stuff and education. There's so many gay people here, and it's just that they don't want to like deal with this petty bullshit.
You guys are smart too. You guys are very. My other thing with Boston is like, and I realized it as someone who's, I've had kind of a negative impression of Boston for years, is when I went last time. I was at this arcade with my sister, and we were at this arcade, and it was just so, I had a lot of fun. Like, I had a lot of fun in Boston, and I realized, and kind of what I told her was that Boston really is an environment conducive for learning. Like, it is a great place to go to school. It's a great place for college and to do the university thing. And my parents both went to school in Boston too. So like, I have a lot, and so did my aunt and uncle. Like, I have a lot of roots in Boston. I'm also in New England at heart. Like, Dunkin' Donuts is sister. Yeah. Like, I love my Dunkin' Donuts. So I do appreciate Boston for what it is. It's beautiful. I have a greater appreciation for it now. And I also do want to point out to any of the Boston gays that are out there that of the Boston gays that I met, they were lovely to me. Yeah. And especially with the book stuff too, like of the guys that I met that might have been familiar with my work, it was all on the basis of my writing, which is the first time that's ever happened to me. So I walked out of that experience very emotionally fulfilled. So I was like, oh, this is cool. Yeah. So I have Boston, a complicated relationship with her, but I appreciate her now. And I'll appreciate her more when you show me around the block.
You're gonna love Boston, because I can tell you that. Are you single? We'll be right back after a word from our sponsors. Okay, now back to the show. Are you single?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
I'm keeping my dating life very close to my chest as of late, because I'm
okay. But if you are, my goal in life is to have a successful podcast, which I'm doing. But my other goal is to be a matchmaker, and so you're cute and you got a great personality and you know how to have a conversation. I could set you up very easily, and it may be whenever I come to New York to visit that we'll have to go out for me. But I could find you somebody very easily if you were interested in that.
We shall see. I mean, I used to be really public about talking about my dating life, and for the past year or so, I've really held it to my chest tightly, and I've been really ferociously guarded with it. I will say that, like, knock on wood, if things in my life keep going at the rate that they're going right now, that won't be necessary.
Okay.
But I'm not gonna jinx it. So
yeah,
I'm saying nothing.
Let's just see what happens. And if you talk to somebody and they're nice, maybe they're just a good friend. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah.
What was your thought about Miami when you got stuck there for 24 hours?
Oh, I love Miami. My grandparents live there, or they used to,
Okay.
and then now they're in West Palm. But I mean, I used to go to Miami every year, multiple times, just to visit them and
And
spend time with them.
have you done the gay bars there in South Beach?
No, I'm scared. I'm scared. I was in Miami. I was looking at my phone. I was like, oh my god, everyone here is so hot. Like I'm gonna lose my mind. I was so spooked. It was
Yeah.
spooky. But it's okay. If Miami's a body city, New York is a face city. If LA
Yeah.
is a body city, Boston is a face city.
Yeah.
I lead with my face. I don't have shirtless pictures of me anywhere in my feed. And if you find like maybe a semi shirtless, it's because it's like collarbone up. I keep it cute. But I mean, my entire Tinder feed when I was down there, I deleted Tinder because keeping it cute, obviously, was like just like the most shredded bodies I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
And that's just culture. I mean, you're outside, it's warm, it's a different vibe. But in New York, it's like your face speaks for everything. It's like it's different. Like it's different.
Yeah.
Is my point.
It is. Yeah. I mean, the guys in Boston are really, there's a lot of cute guys in Boston. New York is a whole different level, though. I think guys in New York are super hot. So I don't know.
I don't know. I find intellectualism incredibly attractive, and I found the guys in Boston to be very intellectual, and I found that very charming. And the conversations I had with them were very astute. New York is such a mixed bag of everything. It's like you can truly find anything you want here, and the community is so large and so interconnected that it's like it's kind of a free for all. Like I really do feel like after all these years in New York, I finally have found an appreciation for the queer community, which is a far cry from what I used to feel about it when I was like 19 to 20 years old.
How was your solo trip to Peru? And why did you do a solo trip? Just because you wanted to?
Oh, that was really fun. I mean, so what happened with Peru was, I think for added context about how my life works is I don't just work full time as a writer and as a content creator. I've always done behind the scenes work as a content creator for other companies.
Oh.
So companies that you watch on your For You page that are relatively, they have social media platforms. I've done the socials for. My first ever job was with the Empire State Building. I was one of their first ever social media content creators, and I helped them behind the scenes. I'm not gonna like rat them out for they were it was a lovely first job, but I kind of got thrown into the line of fire. Like on my first week, I was working on Stranger Things with the cast of Stranger Things on the season 4 premiere. I was working with like High School Musical, the musical. I was working with like famous rappers and celebrities that came to the building, and I was creating content. And the office was like a block away from the building, so you'd have to run back and forth from the Empire State Building and take the multiple elevators up to the top, and then run back to the office and edit everything. And so that was my first ever job in social media, was corporate social media work. And then from that, I worked for a company that was on Shark Tank, and I'm still doing work with them to this day. And, now I'm working with a few other social media clients behind the scenes on their social strategy. So I'm kind of employed in a way where it's like, I do social media for myself, I write, but I also do social media for other people. So if you need help with social media and you're out listening to this podcast, hit me up. That's my job. But in all seriousness, that was what Peru was as well, because there was a company down in Peru that was looking for social media help and just some kind of videography work. And it's just some like simple social media strategy help. And so I went out to Peru for 5 days and did a solo trip for the first 5 days. And for the second week, I went to the Sacred Valley, Peru. And I went to Cusco in the mountains, then to Sacred Valley. And I was with this yoga retreat company for a week. And I just helped them film some content. And I gave them batch content. Wasn't even, I guess I can say it, wasn't even paid. I thought the opportunity was so cool. I was like, listen, I'll do all your videography. Just comp my flight and let me just crash here and just do this retreat with you guys and like let me be part of the experience. I'm good.
Amazing.
And that's what Peru was for me.
Did you do ayahuasca?
No. Ayahuasca is it's like a 3-month thing. As I was asking about it, it's a 3-month thing. You have to like eat certain foods and drink certain things, and it's months. It's like a whole process. But I was probing because I was curious. But Peru is also really interesting because it has the most microclimates in the world, is what I was told. So I went from like subtropical city in Lima down to the desert, and that was my solo trip. Was down to the desert for 5 days, where I was like sand duning and I was like looking at these like Nazca lines that they have drawn in the sand that are like thousands of years old. And then that was the most solo part of the trip, and also the most challenging because I was fully left alone to my own devices for days,
Wow.
no service, just in the middle of nowhere. Loved it, had a great time. Then I went back to Lima, and then I flew to Cusco. And I'm asthmatic down. So I was huffing and puffing up those hills. So I was like, I had the worst altitude sickness of my life.
Oh.
And then I was like, it was beautiful. It was so beautiful. But there was like these like little like old ladies that were just like booking it up the hill, and I was like leaning against the wall, fighting for my life. And then after that is when the retreat happened. And then on my way back is when I got stuck in Miami for a day on a layover, and then back to New York, so on and so forth.
Tell me, I see you signing books for people for your book, Goodbye to Boyhood. Tell me, how do people, if they want to get a signed copy instead of going to Amazon or whatever, where do they go to get that?
Yeah, so Goodbye to Boyhood, which is my prize. I'm really happy we could talk about it, in this podcast. So thank you for letting me chat about it. Was my collection of short stories I wrote when I was 19 and 20, a little bit at 21. That was my passion project in college because I went to school for creative writing, and there's this really weird gatekeeping energy around creative writing where it's like you have to go to school, then you have to get your master's, then you have to apply for this fellowship, and then after this fellowship you can get, maybe when you're 28, 29, an agent, and then sell your book by the time you're in your 30s. And I just thought to myself, I'm impatient, and that sounds like a lot of time. And quite frankly, I think the best way to gauge your writing is through how people interact with it and experience it. And so I was writing these short stories already in school, and I was putting some of it out on TikTok, and it was getting some positive reception. And so I thought to myself, and I didn't go into it with the idea of creating a book. Let me take these short stories and compile it into the state of how I'm feeling about being in my early 20s, about being an adult for the first time. Because the question I kept asking myself when I was in college was, you're finally going to adulthood, you're finally stepping into adulthood, you're saying goodbye to your boyhood, but you never really enjoyed boyhood. You never really felt like you were enough of a boy. So now you're 21 years old, you're looking back at this thing that's over, and you never felt like you connected with it. And what does that mean for you now? And so Goodbye to Boyhood was 10 short stories that were chronological, that started with like early age birthday parties and segued into relationships with your father and how he dealt with your sexuality, into relationships with your mother and into friends, down to your first hookups, and eventually ending with grief, because that's kind of the kicker to childhood, is death and people that were once there no longer being there. So it was very pointed. It was very thought out by younger me. And I look back at it and kind of cringe sometimes because it is so raw, and I wrote it when I was like 19, but it truly is a time capsule of what it is to like be 19 and 20 years old for the first time. And the melodramatic antics of this book, the highs and lows of Goodbye to Boyhood, is exactly what it is to be young for the first time and how serious it feels to be young. And I did the book on my own, self-published it. I was going to go to a small press, but I was like, you know what? I want to own the rights to it. I'm 20 years old. I'm going to do it myself. Put it out myself. Paid for the cover designer myself. Paid for the editors myself with money that I saved up from working for these different social media companies. Did the full thing fully my own. And it's been 2 years now. And after 2 years, I finally have management. And I'm finally working on my debut novel. And I'm still doing signed copies of this book on TikTok Shop because I want to get it out there as best I can, because I'm really proud of this project. And I'm older now, and so I don't have as much embarrassment around sharing the book. Like when it first came out, it was almost like too close to me still, where it was really hard to share the book and to like let people read it and to let them have discourse on it, because I felt like too connected to it. But now enough time's passed where it's no longer really me anymore. It's just a former version of myself. And I'm very comfortable with giving it out. It's kind of saying, hey, this is who I once was. Check it out. My next book will come out in like 2 years, and that'll be me now. And then when it comes out in 2 years, I'll be a new me.
Yeah. Awesome. I love it. I love it that you did that. And I think that, there's so many people out there that will read it and just, you'll help people that are kind of struggling maybe with their sexuality or just wanting to know what it's like and stuff. So I think it's amazing you did that.
Thank you. Of anything I've done in my career thus far, I'm the most proud of that in my life. It was really challenging to put out a book. at 21, and it was really embarrassing. I was really embarrassed about it because it was just so, it's fictional, but I most things come from emotional places that are authentic. So it was really scary, but I'm grateful that it has had some micro positive impact and that it's done what I set it out to do, which my point of the book, the crux of it, was very much like, these are 10 short stories about solitude and isolation and overcoming your own loneliness and confusion around how your masculinity, gender, and sex come together.
Yeah.
And the fact that it, even in any way, shape, or form, has had a positive impact on helping young queer people realize that it's during these experiences that you're able to kind of overcome it all. Like, there's silver lining in all of it. I'm very proud of that. And it's a very, I don't know.
Awesome. You should be proud of it. I mean, it's awesome. What series do you have coming up next that you're thinking about doing? Anything you can share?
With TikTok or with my next book?
Both.
Well, I can say two things. First off, I'm trying to figure out my next series right now too. I don't know what my next series on short form is going to be. I have a few ideas I'm tinkering with. If you want to open it up to the conversation, please, people, let me know what kind of content would you like to see from me, because these are the questions I ask myself every day. Do you have any good ideas, Zach? I feel like I could pick your brain here.
I don't know. Let me think. I'll think about it and I'll email you if I think of any. But there's I can think of something. I think you should maybe like do a series where you maybe go and talk to different people in the LGBTQ plus community that are at different stages in their life. Because you kind of talked about that where you went to Club Cafe and you were talking to two like older gay guys. And I think that might be a good series where you kind of just like pull people in and talk about what they've experienced at their certain age. You could start with somebody in their 20s, then 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s if they're going to bars still.
It's so funny you say that, because I actually did have a conversation about that yesterday. I have a pretty good friend who's an author. His book comes out. It's called An Open Era, June 2nd. And it's a queer novel about mental health and about these two guys that play tennis that have a relationship with each other. And so he and I were chatting yesterday. We got margaritas about doing a video where I could interview him about his book and be with him on the day that the book comes out on June 2nd, because he's doing a talk at the Strand. So that's in the works right now. So more for me personally, what really brings me satisfaction in this content space is to create content into any sort of video that has substance to it and can kind of be part of a conversation. Yeah. And so to me, any sort of interview style video is always my forte. So I'm looking forward to doing that with him. Look up An Open Era. Not paid promo. It's a great book.
Yeah, say it. Promote it for him. Yeah. What's his name?
Edward Schmidt.
Edward Schmidt.
Yeah,
okay.
we'll link it. He's lovely. I met him actually at Instagram's Pride Book Fair. He came up to me a year ago and was like, "I read Goodbye to Boyhood," and I was like, "No way!" And so that's how we met. And now I'm reading his book because it's coming out. So content like that, but also with my own writing. Like, I've been really knee deep in writing this debut novel of mine. Like, it's not finished, but I really have a sense of where I'm taking it now. Like, last night I was tinkering online with just like what it's going to be when it comes out in a few years. So it's going to be a very different process than Goodbye to Boyhood, but I have the title, I have a good part of it fleshed out, and I just have to, sit down and, apply myself and finish it. And I'm really looking forward to what it'll be a detachment from the first one, but I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. And by the way, I love your cat videos. I love your cat. I'm a cat owner too.
Can you hear him? He's meowing right now. He's downstairs.
Yeah, I heard him.
You heard him? Yeah, he wants food. He already ate breakfast. He just wants like treats.
Yeah, that's what my cat is probably
orange
doing
tabby
too. So I know I love him. He's so cute. Well, I think you're amazing. I'm looking forward to meeting you in a few weeks in Boston and taking you out and showing you what the real Boston is all about, and not Club Cafe. But I'm really glad that I got to interview you and talk with you, because I think your videos are really inspiring. I think that they're entertaining. I think people really like you. I think you have an amazing personality also, and you can hold a good conversation. So whatever your situation is with dating, maybe if a whatever's happening. If
We'll talk
you
off
do
camera
want-
about it. Well, I'll tell you what's going
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, and then maybe I can be the matchmaker, and this is what I tell all my guests who I'm a matchmaker for. All I ask is that I want to be invited to the wedding, and I want to make a speech. That's all I ask. So,
I would kill to have a wedding. I would have the most fab wedding. I think it'd be so chic. You're married, right?
married, yeah.
Yeah, you're married. Like I want to be married. I'm a little young for that now, but that sounds fabulous.
Yeah, it is. But have fun when you're in your 20s. Like we met when I was 25, and yeah. So, but yeah, I would not want to be single in today's world. There's too much. All the whole app thing, I just couldn't even imagine it. It feels like it's a lot.
No, every time I open up Hinge, an angel dies. So
Yeah.
I'm good. No, it's been such a pleasure chatting with you. We're gonna definitely have to debrief in Boston, everything and more. But thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an incredible work you do here, and
Thank
I
you
hope
so
that
much.
my tangent. I hope that, and if when listening back to this podcast, my tangents circled back, and I actually said something of substance.
You said a lot of good stuff. This is a good podcast.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. Knock on wood, right, team?
It's going to be a good podcast, I promise you. And I want everybody to go and check out Spencer's TikTok shop, which I'll put a link to it. Follow him on TikTok. I'll put his Instagram. I'll put all the links in so you can find out who Spencer is if you don't know him already.
Amazing.
And thanks everybody for listening, and come back tomorrow for a new guest. Thanks so much for being on, Spencer.
Thank you so much. And I'll also add that every book I have in TikTok shop with a signed copy comes with a personalized handwritten letter from yours truly. So it's a little DIY.
Awesome. Love that. Thanks everybody for listening, and share this episode with somebody who thinks it would resonate with them. Thanks everybody.
Take care.